Hello, my beautiful gemstones. Welcome to Friday night's live intuitive oracle with myself and Ghostdragonzw. It is so good to see you guys here. It has been quite the week for me. I know so many of you are like, Gemma, you're always sick. I told you guys this. You know, I'm a medium. We get sick a lot. And then on top of that, living with a first grade boy, a 6-year-old boy. Guys, I am sick all the time. If it's not one thing, it's another. But you guys, I'm sure, know how that goes. So yeah, I haven't been feeling well. And today was RJ's last day of school before 10 days of spring break. So I'll get done what I can next week, but it's going to be rough. But I love having him home. So Blue Crossroads and his fingernail chicken. A couple of times in the past few weeks, he and I have been just randomly texting, and I've had on longer than these, like super duper long nails. And I have to breadcrumb the chicken when my son wants fried chicken, and I make it for him a lot. So every time he'll text me and I'll be like, I'm trying to make this chicken with these super duper long fingernails and it's just not working. And he's like, fingernail chicken sounds great. At least there's no fingernails in the chicken, right? Bat Mom, what's up, girl? Jim's camera at dawn. Oh, it's so good to see you guys. Carly, what's up, girl? Of course, we have the Ghost Dragons. Heather B, it's so good to see you. I'm feeling better. Going through a lot of spiritual stuff, really, really big stuff that I'll eventually be able to share with you guys. What's up, Skyly girl? There you are. Latro. I'm feeling better. Might be a little slow tonight. I've been having some issues. But I'm okay. I felt good enough and everything to do the stream. So let's just take it slow and keep it moving. Let me bring in Ghost Dragons, then we can just get started. I've been watching, I know a lot of y'all aren't religious, but I've been watching the show The Chosen, and I'm obsessed, as I am with most things concerning Jesus. And I'm just like gearing up for the part, the crucifixion. And I'm just like, I am going to be a mess. I know it. Siebes, I love it. That is so awesome. My nickname growing up was Minnie because I loved Minnie Mouse, and I was my mom's Minnie, right? So they would call me Minnie, and my grandma would call me Minnie Haha because I was always laughing. But then when I got to be like 13, I decided it was too much like for babies. So I made everyone stop calling me Minnie. And I wish I hadn't because it's really cute. Skyly, that's awesome. We should talk about that more privately for sure. What's up, girl? Cliff Clark, what's up? I did get back to you the other day, but I guess you got it taken care of. You guys have to understand, aside from my kids and my parents and my son's school, my phone doesn't ring or make any noise. It doesn't notify me of like YouTube comments or TikToks or nothing. It is dead silent because otherwise it would be going off all day. So the only way I know if anyone texted me or called me is that every 20, 30 minutes or so, I look at my phone to see. So usually I do not see things like as soon as they come in, which is why it can be frustrating for a lot of you guys, like, why isn't she getting back to me? That is one of the main reasons. All right, let me bring in Steven here. Hey.
Hello, how's everybody? I hope everybody had a good week.
You said you weren't wearing a tie, but you look really nice in that sweater.
Thank you.
It looks very nice, especially with the glasses. You look very professionally dapper, sir.
I don't do the pinky. Private chat.
No.
Okay.
All right, guys. So the way we're doing this, and I hope we don't have to end up ending early, but if we do, we do. I'm changing some things around on my channel. I don't know exactly what that means yet, or like where we're going to go. We're definitely going to stay together. We're definitely going to do this stream. Just going forward as far as like my regular content. So just bear with me. I'm still putting out shorts and TikToks, and still doing this stream. Ghostdragonzw still streaming, and we're going to be doing our Tuesday afternoon stream, but this coming Tuesday, I had to cancel this past Tuesday because RJ and I were both really sick, high fevers, just in bed. Then this Tuesday, he'll be home because spring break. Then next Tuesday, I'm going to be making up for this week, or this coming week, So the Tuesday after will be the official relaunch of Afternoon Talk. Skyly, you know what? That's something I would love to talk to you about personally. I went through that a lot in my life because of my abilities. A lot of people see that, including some members of my family, as me being automatically demonic, automatically excluded from being able to be a Christian. But I don't talk about it publicly because some people really don't want to hear about that stuff. You know, it's not what they're here for. But privately, I would love to discuss that with you because it's something I'm very passionate about and I feel very strongly about. Short answer, no. But we can talk more about that privately. What's up, Melissa Nicole? I hope you're feeling okay. I saw your Facebook post and I'm just praying for you. I really am. All right, guys, so here's how we're going to do this. Members, you're going to go in the order in which you came. Anyone after that, let me know when. Yeah. When and if you put the $2 to my PayPal or Cash App or $4 through YouTube. Skyly's paid, and then the members. Guys, you don't have to pay for a reading. You can always just hang out. If anybody pays extra money, like here's for other people, you guys can certainly have readings. I went back to writing for a certain person about a year ago, I believe, and we had a deal and an arrangement. And I did everything I was supposed to do as usual. And then I waited this month to get paid, and I waited to get paid, and I waited to get paid. And finally I said, hey, what's going on? Like, can I get paid? And this person was like, you know what? Don't write anymore for a while. And I paid you. So I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't even see that. Oh, you're lying and now not talking to me again, and you're going to screw me out of $150. That's cool. But I'm not being quiet about it anymore. I'm going to make TikToks about it, and I'm going to expose people. If you don't like the narrative I'm spreading about you, and it's the truth, change the narrative. Be honest, you know? So I'm not having the best day, but I am glad to be here with you guys because you always make it better, and I always just feel like so much lighter. So anyway, if you're not a member, pop the money in my PayPal or Cash App or through YouTube because they take half. Otherwise, just hang out and have a nice time. And you can always take what resonates for everyone else too. You know what I mean? Like if you can't pay and you really want, need to hear something, you will get messages in here, whether they're meant for you or not. If you're receiving them and they're resonating, they are meant for you. They just don't have your name on them, right? Yeah, Batmom, I'm not being quiet about being treated poorly anymore. When I didn't do anything, do you know what I mean? Like I did everything I was supposed to do. And 4 years ago and 4 years, I was quiet about the way I was treated in certain areas and things that were done to me. And I just, there's no excuse for it anymore. Roger Blair, Miss Pixie Girl, Nut Slap. Oh, new member. Look at you. All right, let's get started. For sure, Batmom. That's exactly how I feel right now, to be honest.
Blue is your first one.
All right, Blue. Let's start with Aether Creatures. Oh. I can't believe the end of the school year is coming already. It's so crazy. This year flew by. Thank you, Melissa. He said I'm bowling. For sure. I appreciate the membership, guys. They help supplement my YouTube income because I get memberships on like between the 5th and the 8th. So it's always like a little extra bonus for me because by then I usually don't have any money. This is literally the cutest thing I've ever seen. What is this? This looks like a Pokemon. Card number 36, the Mopai or Mopey. No, high school's exciting. I mean, I guess if I were your age, I would be afraid for high school too. But I don't remember. You know what it was, Skyly? I went to a senior high school. So high school for me started, like we went to the high school in 7th grade. So it was kind of like not that big a deal. But you're going to be awesome. Just remember how awesome you are. And it's going to be so hard not to compromise your integrity for people. But honestly, don't compromise your integrity for anyone. People can take you as they are or not at all. And you will always find your tribe of people. You always will. All right, Blue. If Mopey has appeared to you right side up, thank you, Miss Pixie. You and or someone in this situation is in need of softness, comfort, sweetness, tenderness, calm, care, cuddling, companionship, attachment, and or a cheer me up. Intuitively, you already know whether it is you or someone else that needs it. Maybe both. Soothing is not something that only a baby needs. Adults benefit from soothing too. Try not to see this as a weakness. See it as nourishing to your emotional, mental, and physical aspects. Because of this, the Mopey make you stronger, not weaker. That's why it's so adorable. It's supposed to be cuddly. When a Mopey appears right side up with everything you think, say, or do, ask yourself, how can I make this softer? For example, if the thought arises, I'll never get this done, choose to soften this to something like, every day I'm getting a little bit more done. Or if you're about to yell at someone, a softer option might be writing to them instead. If something is softer, it will cause you to feel a relief, a relaxation, an opening in your emotions and in the tissue of your body. Mopey has appeared to tell you that right now it's not the time for things that are harsh, hard, rough, intense, sharp, scary, lonely, loud, brutal, aggressive, or tense. Right. And, we've spoken about this privately during some of your readings and just in our general discussions about some things that are going on with you in your personal life. And I feel like this should resonate with you so very intensely, right? It's not that you're not a soft person, but you're not a hard person either. I feel like you've always had a balance, but I feel like lately you're finding yourself thinking in different ways. And by lately, I mean probably the last couple of years as you've been finding yourself in this community and as you lost your beautiful wife and then, the big move and all these things that you're going through, they didn't harden you. And that shows a person's soul. And this is no judgment if things like that do make you feel harder, because if you're a good person deep down inside, you're always going to soften up eventually, right? That's like me. I'm a big old softie. I can be so mad. And then, I literally just have to hear I'm sorry, which isn't always a good thing. But I find it just feels better being more soft, right? Blue, in the next couple of weeks, I feel like this card is literally just giving you a pat on the back and telling you you're doing an amazing job. You are changing deep down inside, whereas if your first instinct used to be one thing, it's now your first instinct is something else, something maybe more, what is the word I'm looking for? Flattering to the other person, right? Maybe your first instinct now will be to approach things and certain people in a softer way, to really put yourself in other shoes. Not that you haven't really done that, right? Or you've never been able to do that. But I feel like in the next couple of weeks, you're going to find yourself doing that more and more until finally it just becomes what you do, right? Make sure anything that comes up, if your immediate reaction to it is real anger or real harshness, or you really just want to scream and holler, and we all have those days and those moments, this will be your reminder that it's not the time to do that, right? It's almost never a time where we have to behave that way, but we're human beings and we have reactions, right? And depending on what we're reacting to is how we're going to react. This is telling you, make sure if your first instinct is to lose it, make sure that that's the last thing you do. Your instincts are fine-tuning right now. You're coming into spiritual alignment. You're coming into awakening. You're learning all of these new things about spirit and yourself in the world. And I just feel like this is a reminder of how far you've come, how amazing you're doing, right? And to continue being gentle without feeling some type of way about it, without feeling like maybe if you're gentle with this person, they're going to take advantage of it. Or if you're gentle with this person, it's going to look bad to that person. Just focus on how you're feeling and the energy you're putting out into the world. Who's next? I've never pulled that card before. That's so crazy.
Next is Carly.
Siebes. All right, girl. Let's use Dark Goddess. So crazy. 8th grade. Wow. When was I in 8th grade? 1996, I think. No, I was 15 in 2000. Well, give me a minute. 97, 98. Yeah. Netter. Absolutely right. You got that right. All right. Wrath, the Guabensex. I'm so old. I had a Sega Genesis. Old. Hold on, I just lost track of something. Siebes.
I'm so old, I lived the Old Testament.
Oof. Ferocious winds blow, be warned, ways must change, loss is mourned, neglect respect upon one's path, and face the fury of her wrath. By the power of the dark goddess in me, protection in place, blessed be. A storm is brewing, and you could very well be placed in its eye as chaos reigns around you, scattering all that you hold dear. This will change all that you know, belief systems, relationships, and work ethics, just to name a few. Carly, don't be fearful, for Guabensex brings this message as a heads up and warns you not to cause trouble for the sake of it. For this Lady of the Winds can cause catastrophes of biblical proportions and demands appropriate respect, or you will face her wrath. Knowing what's coming will enable you to prepare and understand why you face such dire straits. It's all for the best, however. You will be supported by Guabensex if you stand strong and observe the activity that whirls in extreme ferocity around you. Then, once the storm has blown over, you will find it easy to float into the brand new world your soul has been craving. Someone, Carly girl, is out to cause trouble. Your past is catching up with you. Stop antagonizing a situation. Your habit of deliberately arousing hostility will alienate you. Don't back down for fear of incurring somebody's fury. Invite peace in to cool a hot temper and watch your words. So this sounds a little contradictory to me. It's like, don't antagonize a situation, but don't sit back and be quiet either, right? I feel like what this is talking about, Carly, is in the next couple of weeks, there is definitely someone trying to cause trouble for you, or at the very least, stirring up trouble around you. What's up, Smoochie? And I feel like I'm getting this feeling of like, I'm fed up. Like, I already have this feeling in me today with what happened to me with my job, my other job. But this feeling of like, I'm fed up. I am so fed up. And you know what? Now I'm going to say something. I have had it. I've tried, to sit back and not say anything. I've tried to let it play. You feel like you've tried everything other than like just lose your cool. And what the universe is saying here with this card, Carly, is, okay, you haven't tried that yet, right? But this person is purposefully doing or saying whatever these things are that's getting you so riled up on purpose to get this reaction from you. Okay? They're trying to get you to react in a certain way so they can like pull out their phone and be like, do you see how she really is? Do you see how she really acts? Right? This is classic toxic narcissist manipulative stuff, right? Oh, well, thank you, Miss Skyly. I sure hope so. Yeah, Carly, I feel like somebody's definitely trying to get under your skin. And another thing that I'm seeing too is that somebody is like telling you these little lies to get a reaction, but like they're lies, right? Like somebody's trying to get a rise out of you by telling you things they know are going to like hurt you and make you react and respond in a certain way. And it's like these things aren't even true. They're just trying to get you to react. The reason for this could be, take it as it resonates, anything in your life right now. One of the things I'm seeing is someone's jealous of you and maybe a relationship that you're having. So they're going to tell you bad things about the other person in the relationship. They're trying to add confusion in, okay? Regardless of what this is about, trying to break up a friendship, trying to get you to move, like whatever this person is trying to get from you. If you have any kind of negative public reaction or outburst at all, you're giving them exactly what they want. The best thing you can do, keep doing what you're doing, keep being who you are, and give it as little energy as possible, right? If someone brings it up, just pretend. Say you meet 10 people on the road, right? You're out grocery shopping, you're running into 10 people you know somehow, and each one of them brings it up. Each and every time, pretend as though you had no idea. Say it's Megan is the person who's doing this to you. Every single time, Megan who? Oh, she did what? Like, it's not even affecting you. And guess what? It will affect you so much less than if you sit and dwell on how angry and upset you are. The universe has a way of working things like this out. Karma's throughout lifetimes, but it also will, okay, Josephine, but it will happen within situations like this, right? Where it's not that this person's going to get back what they're putting out, but they're going to get what they deserve in the end anyway, right? The more energy you give this person or this situation, the worse off you're going to be in the end. And for some reason, I feel the need to say for your reputation and just you in general with how you're feeling and how you're doing.
Next is Heather B.
Heather, I'm using angels and ancestors. All right, guys, play nice in the comments, please. I know you didn't say anything, but you're almost there. Just to tell you guys a quick story. I don't know how many of y'all are up late for Ghostdragonzw's, what is it, Wednesday night stream, sweetie? Or Thursday? Wednesday night stream. But we know our ghosty. What does he really talk about? You guys sometimes talk about how he's feeling. You review. Oh, no, it was my video review? Or was it Thursday nights?
That was your Gemma's replay Saturday night.
Okay, so Saturday nights, they review one of my older videos. They talk about it. They talk about everything. But, you know, we don't curse. We try not to allow things in the comments. They gave me minimized monetization on that stream. So I requested a review, and I was like, you know, maybe the robot just picked up some word randomly, because they do that sometimes. And technically my smoking on my vaping on this stream could get me demonetized, right? That's how petty YouTube is. And I never even thought of that till the other day, because I'm like, was he talking maybe about the fume or whatever? They said a human being reviewed the entire video and they still are not giving me full monetization, which means I'll make, no matter how many people view it, it could go viral and I will make 25 cents off of it till the end of time, 25 cents a month, right? So that's how petty YouTube is.
Especially with smaller channels.
And they don't tell you. They don't tell you why.
Say.
They just said it violated one of these 10 terms of service. They don't tell you why. Or they'll do something like, I'll post a YouTube short. No, they do not give a reason. I'll post a YouTube short and it'll tell me like 3 hours later, I have 0 views. So, okay, in 3 hours, nobody watched this out of the 6,000 people on my channel or the random people that come across it. But on that same video, it'll say 0 views, 5 comments, and 8 likes. How did at least 8 people like it and 5 people comment on it if nobody watched it? All right, Miss Heather.
Their YouTube's hurting right now, so.
YouTube used to be a really amazing platform, but I know for me, a lot of the things I was doing just aren't worth it. They're just not worth it for me to keep doing. Live streams and short form content for now, until I figure out a way to do reactions. I've asked a million people a million times, a million different ways across 7 platforms. Nobody's willing to show me. So I will figure it out. Heather, you got the Fire Guardian, Ignite Your Passion. Now, one thing with the Fire Guardian for me specifically is I get huge Sagittarius energy on this card. I don't know why. It is obviously a fire sign, but I'm just getting like, so I get this every time I pull it though. So this could be somebody in your life who is a Sun Sagittarius. Oh girl, I'm going to do them. I've been planning it for years. And now I feel like I have to. or who has a lot of Sagittarius in their chart. I just picked up something weird. Let me hold on to that thought. Fire guardian. Yeah, I'm ready to do them. I'm going to do paranormal ones, but I think I'm also just going to do random reactions. I think I'm funny when I want to be, and I think that I have some real insight as far as like the paranormal stuff. Connect with your desires, Heather. The sparks could lead to something beautiful. The fire guardian represents the angels of fire. Fire is an energy that many people are afraid of, but shouldn't be. Burning desires can lead to great expansion. Allow the fire guardian to help awaken a wilder side of yourself and burn away any fear or shame that stands between you and your desires. When this card appears, you are reminded that passion is powerful and absolutely encouraged by spirit. You are being guided by your angels to connect with the powerful energy of desire at this time. If you've recently set an intention to explore your sexual side or become more sexually open, the fire of desire can burn away any old setbacks that are preventing you from expressing that part of your nature. If you're in a relationship, this card can indicate a great spiritual and sexual connection. Mark, Shelly, oh my gosh, what's up, guys? Thank you, Miss Melissa. I don't think enough people see that part of me if they're not on like across my social medias. But thank you. Heather, okay, so I feel like there's, and I don't think this is a new, I'm sorry, Heather. No, I definitely did not get that because I would have watched it. Could you please resend it? Oh my God. I got to get a new phone, guys. All right, Heather, sorry about that. All right, focus, Gemma. I don't feel like this is a recent occurrence where you're suddenly waking up and like on fire with the desire for something. I feel like for a long time, you have been working hard towards achieving something, right? Towards achieving your goals with school or a different way of living or maybe a better relationship, romantic or otherwise. There are several things here that I see you actively trying to change, but there's one thing that you're so passionate about that no matter what anyone says or does, you're not going to stop, at the very least, being passionate about it, right? Whether you stop pursuing it or not is what this card is about. What's up, Sam D? Heather, I know things have been really hard for you lately. Just energetically what I feel, okay? They've been really hard for all of us, and we're all struggling in our different ways. And we can't compare our personal struggles to anyone else's because we all go through things differently. There's no should when it comes to grief or pain or anger. There's just no instruction manual on how to deal with emotions and when things unexpected come up in our lives. But the one thing I'm absolutely seeing here for you, Heather, is that under no circumstances should you let anyone or anything stop you from pursuing whatever this is that you're on fire about. All right? Because the reason you're on fire for and passionate, Skyly, and passionate about whatever this is because it's destined for you. You wrote it into your chart, right? It's for you to achieve, to accomplish. So whether it's a way of living, something you want to do professionally, your soul's on fire. And there are people around you, one person in particular, and I don't like this person. It's probably the same person I'm always getting in your readings. All of y'all have that one person, right? Who cannot stand to see you achieving, growing, learning, being happy with and proud of yourself. And I already know that you already know that this person's got to go. For whatever reason, you haven't been able to make that break or disconnect yet. I'm not judging you, girl. I get it. I think we've all been there at least some point in our lives with something or someone. So no judgment or indictment here. But what I will say is this person is the one causing you the most trouble. And not only, but I want you to think of it this way, okay? Because this is what they're showing me. Yes, this person is sowing doubt in your head. Okay? They're sowing doubt and making you question and second guess yourself. What I also want you to explore, what's up, Nathan, is how much more, like we're Jersey girls, okay? How much more do you want to succeed because this a-hole is telling you you can't, or you won't, or they're going to stop you, right? Even if that has to be the fuel when you have nothing left and you're so overwhelmed and confused and lost, let that drive you. The day that you'll be able to finally stand up and say, I did it, now get out. Or now get away from me. Girl, the day is coming. Don't let anyone take this away from you. Your schooling. Good. Keep pursuing it. Pursue it with even more passion. And when you get down on yourself, I want you to try to remember this card, that this is your destiny. You are supposed to be doing it. Don't let anyone steal that from you. Because if you do, if you stop this pursuit, I don't see your life being nearly as fulfilled. You may still live a fulfilling life, but you will always have a wondering inside of you, what if I had finished? What if I had continued to pursue that which I was passionate about? All right. And I feel like the reason this is coming up now, Heather, is because this kind of bullying is going to get much more intense because you're becoming much more passionate. You're becoming much more sure of yourself, even in the moments when you think that you're not. You got this. Trust me. Trust me, girl. All right. I give bad news too. I'm not one of those psychics or readers that only gives you the sugar coats. Like, if it was bad, I'd tell you. If you weren't meant to do this, I would tell you. And that's why, like, I'm even getting somewhat emotional for you, Heather, because this is so incredibly major for your soul's growth and progression that, like, for you to give up on it because this person is very, very jealous of you. Very, very, very. Yes, Nathan, absolutely. I just need your friend's name. And I don't know if you know, I do charge $2 now, for non-members. I'm trying to find a way where I don't have to, but it doesn't work if I don't. Heather, you got this. PayPal, Cash App, YouTube. Yeah, PayPal's great. Thank you so much. Thank you. So can you put Kathy on the list, please, Sir Ghost, and let me know who's next? Heather, I hate seeing thank you, Nathan. I hate seeing what you're going through like my lens of what I get shown, because you and I are going through something extremely similar in one area of our lives. And I know the pain of that, and I know what that feels like. Seek validation, Heather, from you and from people who support you. Okay. I learned a long time ago not to seek validation from the person that I should be able to seek the most validation from. And man, that was one of the most painful lessons I've ever learned. Okay, Nathan, that's fine. That's fine. I got to find a way to keep that like on screen. Who is next? 444. I love it. Thank you. Kathy will be added to the list. There's not too many in here that are members or paid tonight, so don't worry about it.
There we go. Next is Skyly, and I'll just have you do them together. Nathan and Kathy, I'll have you do them together when they come up.
Oh, yeah, I thought you meant like right now.
No.
Put it in the chat and pin it to the top. Let me do that real quick, guys.
Yeah, I was getting ready to do that. That's what I was doing.
Oh, nope, I didn't do it. I was trying to do it with the Cash App too. Ghosty, can you try to do it?
I just said that's what I was doing when you.
Yeah. Okay. You know I'm only half here during this stream. All right, just Kathy. Okay. Yeah, 444. That's a good one. Josephine, I do see you, honey. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, I wanted to tell you guys, some of y'all won't care, but some of you definitely will. This top I have, you can't see it because I have a black tank top underneath. It's got like this little flower hole pattern. I got it in light pink, my favorite color. Well, my second favorite color. I managed to get it. Thank you, Sam D. In my first favorite color too, which is like this mint green color. I can't wait. I'm going to wear my big puffy white floor length Renaissance dress for Easter. I'm going all out. If you guys saw the Shapeshift short. Yeah, there's a way to pin it, but... Oh, maybe you got to do it on the YouTube chat. I'm in StreamYard. Okay, I'm sorry. Who's next? And Sam D paid as well. I don't know if you saw that.
I'm sorry. Next is Skyly.
Skyly girl. Skyly's a fresh of breath air. A breath of fresh air. You are almost the same age as my daughter, and I just appreciate you being here. And I love that you just have great energy and a great vibe, Skyly. And you might have a hard time because of that finding your people, right? Especially with starting high school. Just that's fine, honey. I'm doing yours right now. I'm using Deep, Dark, and Dangerous. But just know that if you're the truer you are to yourself, and it's hard because we all fall victim to like peer pressure and like wanting to fit in. That's totally cool. But like, if the truer you are to yourself, the truer your friend group is going to be, because you're going to end up with other badass mother effers who are also not going to compromise just to fit in. Did I call? Were you not here when I read for you? You were number one, Blue. You got the cuddly mopey. Yeah, you were the first reading, hun. All right, Miss Skyly, you got the Harpy. It is the card of chaos, card number 35. Absolutely. And that's all you need. And your family. Trust me, you think I'm cool. My 25-year-old thinks I'm cringe. It's just about being a parent. By the way, guys, I'm going to be posting a link in my community chat for my son. We got to vote for him to get invited to rap someplace in New York City. I don't know, but I will post it. Maybe it is Moppy. Okay. Skyly, the situation will evolve very quickly. Remove yourself from the influence of chaotic people and situations. Stand firm. Justice is being sought actively and may well be found. Organizing influences must be found to turn chaos into advantage. Don't be hungry for the wrong things. In today's lexicon, we only hear about the word harpy as a derogatory term for a shrill and unpleasant woman. Women who are outspoken and who work within patriarchal systems often get that term thrown their way, and it references a screeching and thoroughly ugly and unpleasant creature of the ancient Greek and Roman worlds. They are very real. I've been face to face with two of them separately. They are terrifying. The origin of the harpies were associated with the elements of air and wind. The most destructive winds were caused by the harpies and always brought with them terror and chaos. Skyly, traditionally harpies flew. They were a woman-bird hybrid at great speeds and came crashing through the air without warning. The harpies in the oldest mythos were ugly and fierce, with claws, bird wings, terrible voices, and sharp teeth, and they were always hungry. Baby dragon! This hunger, never satiated, meant that they would swoop down and steal food from humans and take cattle and even people. If someone disappeared without warning, it was said that the harpies had carried them off. Zeus himself would send the harpies to torment those who deserved it, and the stories featuring harpies often included them punishing those who had starved their families by stealing or polluting their food. King Phineus of Thrace, for example, had condemned his own children, and thus the harpies were sent to defecate in and steal all of his food. While in many ways the harpies embodied chaos, they also brought justice and structure to situations that required retribution or some kind of just punishment. Your plant companion is Dragon Arum. I have no idea what that is, but your crystal companion is absolutely one of my favorites because it's my favorite color. It is Malachite, okay? And you can look that up, or I'll just send you a picture of what it looks like. Juan, what's up? Okay. Now, Skyly, this is a fairly important message, and I would say it goes for the next week or two, like normal. Things are going to seem very, very chaotic in one area. I just feel kind of panicky and like hyperventilate. Like, I can't believe this is happening. There's something going on. It could have something to do with your friends or other people your age, because I'm seeing younger, right? It could be your family in general. Sometimes I misinterpret. I'm only human, but I think it has something to do with things going on around you, with others your age. Whatever the case may be in the next 2 weeks, I was just telling you this too, which is why it's crazy that you got this card of all of them, right? Although not really, because that's what we do here. It's like the less you worry about it, the less energy and attention you give to it. And I just said this to Carly as well. That'll be the less like that you feed it, right? The less noise you make, the less chaos there will be. And that's really hard because if somebody is spreading rumors about you or spreading vicious gossip, even when you're an adult, you're not going to just sit back and be like, oh, well, maybe I did, maybe I didn't. Like, you're going to want to defend yourself. It's going to be its instinct to want to do that. The problem here is, as with what I said to Carly, there is really no defense, because the minute you defend one thing, they're going to be putting something else on you. And this doesn't have to be directed at you. This could be somebody that you know and care for going through the same exact thing. I would also say be aware of people trying to tell you like your boyfriend cheated on you, or I wouldn't believe that at this time. Okay, because I do think people are just out to try to get a rise out of you, to try to take from you, because you're radiant. You don't see that in you, but people around you, even if they're not physically aware that they're physically seeing this. This is why a lot of people will automatically dislike you when you meet them. Doesn't matter how friendly, genuine, kind, charming, it doesn't matter. They will immediately not like you. And the reason is your light is irritating their demons. Okay? Go about your normal business. Give as little attention to this as humanly possible. If you really need to get it out, okay, and this is what I do. This is how I've learned to kind of curb my tongue, because I told you I used to be a bad girl. I would write it. Write it all down, and write anything you want to say too. It doesn't matter, because what you're going to do is burn that paper or just rip it up and throw it away. Get rid of it. You're going to release it. Eventually, and I'm saying like very quickly, after they realize that you don't have time for them. You don't have time for their nonsense or their BS. What's up, Kelly girl? They're going to leave you alone and move on to the next person. If this is involving a friend, same thing. Maybe pass on this advice. They're not worth the energy. And I know that's so cliche to say, but it is so true. This is just some people who are bitter or jealous about something about you that they may not even know what it is. A lot of people take one look at me, 1 second of time before I don't even get a word out, and they immediately hate me. They write something cruel in the comments and leave. Is it fair? No. But is it how human beings work? Yeah. There's something in you that they want very desperately, and I doubt they even know what it is. I'm not saying you can't get upset or be hurt or be angry, but do not let your tormentors or whoever these people are ever see that. The chaos, no matter in what area of your life right now, will calm down fairly quickly. I feel like it's kind of like, oh, well, she's not paying any attention to us. Let's move on to this other person. That's left. Who's next?
You just said his name.
All right. Sir Slappy. Nutslap, I'm going to use Alice the Wonderland Oracle. Yep, go, honey. I will talk to you at another time. If you want to discuss the Christianity stuff, you can message me anytime. I am definitely always here for that. And because I look like J-Lo, hey, I'll take it. Bye, sweetie. Go. I love this sweater. Are you not going to fix it? You're just going to leave it like that? Okay, I got it. You messed the screen up. I saw you go like this. That's why I thought you noticed it. Love you too, sweetie. Be true to yourself, Skyly. Jam card, yeah. I haven't pulled it in a while. Find the lesson. Nutslap card number 29 in the reverse. Discover the purpose in a situation and trust that you are learning. Thank you, Juan. I'm so glad you found us. I know you found us. I think you found us from another show. I love it. Guys, I did finish writing. I handed it in and I edited myself Encounters with Evil Volume 2. So I'm just waiting for my editor to get back to me as to when it's going to be out. Nutslap, perhaps it hasn't won, Alice ventured to remark. Tut, 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 child, said the Duchess. Everything's got a moral, if only you can find it. Alice is struggling to find any meaning in what's taking place in Wonderland, particularly when she is at the court of the Queen of Hearts. She's puzzled, confused, and feels very much like complaining. The truth is, there's a lot for you and Alice to complain about. People aren't cooperating with each other. There's a great deal of disorganization and chaos. People are quarreling and not getting along. The volatile nature of what's taking place can make you feel like there's no sense to any of this anymore at all. But, as the Duchess points out, everything has a moral, or rather, everything has a lesson within it. I say this all the time because it's the truth. Nathan, yes, yep. And this is the struggle for you right now, Nutslap. Rather than forcing yourself to find the lesson, the better approach is to just trust that there is one. Trust that you're learning and that this experience will come to be valuable in time. It's a very strange and trying place to find yourself in, so be patient with yourself. Understand that it's natural to feel frustrated, impatient, and confused, but trust. Trust there's a reason for this, and in time you'll come to know the purpose of this bizarre, topsy-turvy, and very trying time in your life. In the reverse, the reversal of this card amplifies the confusion you might feel, a challenging time that feels very unfair. There's a reason. It may be too hard to even begin to contemplate that there could be a higher purpose to this situation right now. Give yourself a little bit of space and be patient with yourself. Don't struggle to find the reason. Just find a way to make it through what's happening and know there is one. So Nutslap, this is very basic Gemma Jade 101, okay? Everything we go through, everything, the good, the bad, the indifferent, there's a reason we go through it, that we chose. There's always lessons that we choose to learn. When we chart our destinies in the fifth dimension before we choose to be born, it's like, well, here's where I'm going to be. If I make this decision, this is what will happen, and this is what I'll learn. If I make this decision, this is what will happen, and this is what I'll learn, and so on and so on. But if you don't learn the lesson, then it's going to be like this. You're going on the path, didn't learn the lesson, right back around, same path, same lesson. And this is just what keeps happening. And I do feel like there's a repeat pattern in your life here. Something that, you've either tried to change many times, you've tried to do something about. So this could be like, I'm just using this as an example. Say that you live with a roommate, but you've always wanted to live by yourself. And you've moved out on your own several times, but you've always, for some reason, like right after you move out on your own, you lose your job or this happens, that you always end up back living with someone else. And all you want to do is live with yourself. You want to live by yourself. I'm really oversimplifying this, but try to stay with me. The universe is trying to tell you something, to show you something. There's a reason, right? The problem right now in the situation you're in, Nutslap, is that you're not really going to be able to be mindful enough of anything other than how agitated, angry, frustrated, confused, lost, whatever the big emotions are that you're feeling. You're not going to be able to really see past them to see what the lesson is. It just seems like a bunch of BS that you're going through because you always go through BS, right? Keep in the back of your head just this. There's a reason this is happening. That's it. You don't need to know what the reason is. And that's what the universe is trying to tell you. And not just with that, it's like you don't always have to have the answers or the answer of why. Sometimes you've got to let the universe surprise you. You've got to stay on your toes, and you've got to just keep pushing through, keep surviving, keep struggling through until one day you're not anymore. And you can look back and be like, wow, if that very simple, innocent seeming thing didn't happen, I would not be where I am right now. And where I am right now is amazing. And then you'll go through the next one and the same thing. I tell you guys all the time how my life changed just because I was walking around in the rain and collapsed in a gutter dope sick. I wouldn't be here today with you guys if I was even here at all if I didn't do that. And back then, that was just like a normal Tuesday, right? That's just what I did. But that day was different. No me yo. Who's next? I know I touch my hair a lot. This wig, I just got to get it. Like, it's just in my face. But I like the bangs that way, so. Yes, Miss Pixie, they definitely will. And once again, I am sorry. I don't think I've seen you since you lost your mom, so not to open up an old wound or a recent wound, really, to reopen a wound. I'm so bad with this. I'm very sorry for your loss.
Actually, she is next.
Miss Pixie. Let's see. What do we want for our Pixie girl? I'm going to use the Vampire Oracle, Miss Pixie. The curtain bangs. Yeah, I want to get it on my real hair if I could ever get to get a haircut. They're my favorite too. No me-o. I had someone who, he doesn't come into the streams, but he's in my comments all the time. His name is Michael, and he recently lost his dad this week. So I told him I would mention him and we would pray for his family. All right, Miss Pixie, let's see what's going on. Natural, authentic, real, and organic. I couldn't think of better words to describe you. I mean, I guess I could think of some, but these describe you very well. Authentic and real. Natural. Yeah. And you know, Laura, that's why I said, like, I'm so bad with this. I always say the wrong thing. I always put my foot in my mouth because I understand it differently, as I'm sure you know. Because you do too. And I forget that. Because it's always just me, you know? All right, to be your own true self is a lifetime's long purpose. It's the purpose of this existence and for each of us, despite the labels we all have, human, vampire, woman, man. We have something greater at play, how the essence, that very drop of pure self, makes itself known through us. And for this great miracle to take place, there are habits to be shed, reactions to be questioned, challenges to be met, and experiments to be made. For you are not who you have been told you are, Lara, and so with this card, we ask for you to clearly and finally perhaps understand and acknowledge that all that you are can be discovered when you take yourself within and quietly feel, look, and listen to your own self. Not the self of the label or the job, not the defenses you have developed for protection, not the protests of ego or the demands of family voices within. It is who you truly are. And then, once having found a sense of that, to live from that place in small, consistent ways each day. How that manifests will be unique for each of you, but we ask for you now to go beyond the labels of time and place and family and education and status and go very deep within. There's something within you that's more than the history of others, and that is yours alone, and the world needs it to be expressed. Otherwise, why would you have been created? So, Siebes, I read for you already. You were the second one. I'll show you your card very quickly. Miss Carly, I read this for you. This is yours. It's the second one we pulled. And the world needs it to be expressed, Laura. Otherwise, why would you have been created in the first place? For each of us, every drop of rain, every stone, every creature of the sky and the land has their role and their part to play. We need to become our natural self again beyond what we are told we are and to live from that place. And this will create a satisfying and more peaceful, harmonious life, no matter what challenges you meet from within or without. You are precious to the world, Laura, especially so when you find that part of you that is only yours to offer, and add it to the song of the world and make all that it is more beautiful, more fulfilled, and more totally realized as a consequence of your soul's truest expression. Bye, Nutslap. When you take away the trappings of money, power, status in the world, you are left with the things of the spirit, and you are rich in the ways of the soul indeed. This creates a balanced, centered, strong core. Too much reliance on the feedback of society, self-worth is centered in status and therefore is constantly shifting, being uncentered. There has been an over-reliance on ways of identifying who you are, whether you have categorized yourself by a job or your appearance, personality, wealth, background. It's time to go beyond this to who you truly are and know yourself from the inside out. This doesn't require puzzlement or complexity. It requires quiet distillment and true reflection and contemplation of the self. You have too many definitions that others have given you. I thought it would. Let them go and learn the song within you and give voice to that in order to become natural and truly fulfilled as your own true self. Wow. Miss Pixie, everyone always telling you what you should be doing, what you should be thinking, what you should be feeling, and what you shouldn't, right? What you should be, just it goes on and on. And I feel like for you, there's some sort of comparison as well. So this is on top of how it's resonating with you. I'm also getting there could be comparison, which there always is. We're always comparing ourselves to someone or something else in some way, even if we're not even like cognizant of it. It could be like very small. It's like, how come, so-and-so did the exact same things I did and was way less passionate about it. And, they didn't get the promotion. They got the promotion and I didn't. Do you know what I mean? I feel like there could be a part of you, good night, Jim, where there's a part of you that knows who you truly are and have tried to show it to the world, right? And to give that part of yourself. And I resonate with this so much. It's been a huge struggle for me lately. I understand this for you deeper than I think you know, where you've offered your true, authentic self to the larger community. So whether that be YouTube or a group of people, I am seeing more than one. Okay. And you feel as though you might have, like, you're being rejected in a way where as soon as you actually start being yourself, you're expected to be a certain way, say a certain thing, speak in a certain tone. And you actually realize, you can't just be yourself. But then you see all these fake phonies. This is just an example, doing this, the same thing you're trying to do, only way worse than you're doing it. They're just, it's like, how are they getting to where they are in whatever this is when you're giving all of yourself, being who you truly are, that, doing the most, and still there's like no recognition there. It has to make you look inside and go, is it me? Is there something wrong with me? Well, maybe if I do this differently, if I do that differently, this is the universe saying, yeah, it's great to change things that aren't working for you, but never when it's yourself, because yourself will always be working for you. You just have to find the right place for yourself, the right people to surround yourself with. And also remember, evil, the enemy, the devil, whatever you want to call that, gives right away. There's nothing to wait for with that entity, with those entities. It's instant gratification, instant satisfaction, and you pay a price later. And I truly do feel that's why a lot of people that we look at and we're like, how are these people successful? It makes no sense. I'm way better than them. That's how they're succeeding, right? You're doing it without selling your soul, so to speak, literally and figuratively. This is the universe telling you, regardless of anything you feel like you may need to change, do not change anything about yourself to try to fit in. Don't compromise your morals, your values, your ideas, or your ideals. And I feel like, you never would, but there's a reason this is coming up. So if something comes up where you're offered what you've always wanted or what you've been working towards and for, but you have to compromise something, don't do it. Okay? Keep doing what you're doing and you will find your people. I have definitely realized how much of my true pixie self has been stifled. Yes. And this is like that fear of judgment, that fear of, what are people going to think or say when I say or do this? I have been pushed beyond that, almost bullied beyond it. And I don't want that to happen to you. Now I'm to the point where I'm like, I don't give an F who likes it, which isn't good either when you're trying to build something, right? There has to be a balance. And I feel like the universe is trying to give you that gentle nudge of like, keep doing what you're doing, keep going. And if you feel like someone is negatively influencing you, step away from them. It doesn't matter if a million other people love them and are following them. What's right for Miss Pixie is not always going to be right for everyone else. And doubly so because of your spiritual abilities and gifts. It doesn't work the same way for us. Because we can truly, genuinely see when someone's a horrible, crappy person. They don't have to do anything for us to know that about them. But most people will be deceived. And we have to just kind of handle that and be like, okay, well, I'm doing it without deceit. So it's going to take me a little bit longer. But you will get there. You will. Just stay the course and don't change anything about yourself.
Next is New England.
Sorry, I was reading the Batmom. Batmom, you're absolutely correct. And that's a lot of the reason why you don't see me going on many other shows. You don't see me hanging out with a lot of those people. They're full of crap. We have so-called remote viewers who can't see a mile in front of them. You know what I'm saying? And it's like they're just being projected. And you know why? It's because they're yes men, male or female. They're yes men. They'll do whatever it takes to get to the top. And when you're willing to do literally anything, you will move faster and gain and achieve. But when you have morals and standards, unfortunately, it takes much longer. But I would rather be in my integrity, even though sometimes I question it. I'm like, you know what? I don't even care. But I do care deep down inside. I wouldn't be able to live with myself if I had to face you guys or whoever else just being this inauthentic model of who Gemma Jade should be, right? Who the world thinks she should be. Someone commented the other day, somebody better come get their mom. I was like, are you insulting me by calling me a mom? I'm like, oh, I'm old. I get it. But I'm not the random person on the internet trying to bully and shame the other random person on the internet. So, I mean, who's got the upper hand?
Okay, next is New England. Okay, and he wants the deck that you pulled for him last week.
Got it. Mark, I agree. It's just hard to hold on to that. I see people making all this money and being so successful, doing the same thing I'm doing, but just cutting corners and, a lot of the times providing false information because it sounds better. And I'm like, well, you may have heard this, but this is what actually happens. Like, people don't want to hear that. They want that factor. And I'm like, I can't do it. And that's why I'm not doing the pre-recordeds anymore. My pre-recordeds are going to be reactions. Juan, you feel free to talk about whatever you'd like. Who are you? Batmom, who are you talking about? Netter, I'm using angels and ancestors. I hope Nutslap's okay. He usually doesn't leave so quickly. Did he say why he was leaving, or he just
He was going to go make dinner.
Okay, that makes sense. Little man's probably there. Mark, as you should be. And Juan, absolutely. I've told you guys before, I went on a show I was a little reluctant to go on. When I got there, well, which one did I use last week? Because I remember when I used this deck, you like loved it. I don't know what I used last week for you.
Let me see the.
Can you go and look? No,
this
is I guess, this is 2 weeks ago. I used this one and he was like, "Oh my God, I love that deck." But last week, I don't know.
Hold on, I'll go look.
If you can find it. I went on the show. I was a little reluctant because when I had my first break with MP&M a few years ago and a certain person did all that stuff to me, everybody kind of chose a side, right? And I lost a lot of interviews. And this person is one of the people who blew me off for a set interview we had. But I went on with him anyway. And he surprised me. He's like, "This is my friend so-and-so. She's also a psychic medium, but she doesn't believe in the afterlife." So from that moment, I was like, okay, this makes no sense. This person was so condescending and so overly flattering. And at the end, I stayed behind and I spoke to her and she's like, "I want to have you on my show. You know, I have X amount of subscribers and I really want to promote you. I think you're amazing." And the whole time I'm like, why is she being so fake to me? But if she does that, great, you know? The very next night she was doing live intuitive tarot reading. I got it. Deep, Dark, and Dangerous. Carly, no problem. That's right. You're right. I'll put it this way. Her last name says it all. How are you a medium and you don't believe in the afterlife? And you don't believe in reincarnation? I learned about reincarnation when I was like 5 years old from my spirit guide. It's just not true. It can't be true. it can't. Yeah, Andrew, there definitely are. All right. Just overly fake and flattering. And I was like, wow, I felt so trapped in that interview.
Yeah, that wasn't one of the. You should see me in the background in chat trying to bite my lip and hold my
Multiple people messaged me after that stream and were like, "Why was she acting like that?" I was like, "You had to see her backstage." She's like, "Oh, so tell me more about what you do." And me, I'm excited to make a new friend, so I'm telling her everything I'm doing, and she copied and pasted. All right, Netter, you got the Jormungand. I think that's how you pronounce it, but maybe not. Midgard Serpent, the card of cycles, card number 34. There's a time for everything. You don't always have to be striving and making things happen. Connect with the seasons and flow with them. Jormungand is one big monster, often referred to as the Midgard Serpent. This creature is so large it fits nose to tail around the whole world of Midgard. Its size stabilizes the realm, so it cannot be removed from its position. It is also the child of Loki and the giantess Angrboda, I don't know how to pronounce it, and has as its siblings the goddess Hel of the underworld and Fenrir the great wolf. The god Odin, foretelling that Loki's children will destroy the gods, decides to throw Jormungand in the ocean surrounding Midgard. Unfortunately for Odin, the serpent grows into such a size that it's able to hold its tail in its mouth. The end of the world, a time called Ragnarok, will begin with Jormungand letting go of its tail. The main enemy of Jormungand is, of course, the god Thor. Thor is a deity who tries to work for the people and destroys evil when he finds it. His half-brother Loki knows that the serpent is one of the only ways to destroy his brother, so he births the living weapon. The serpent isn't just large. It's able to spit poison from its breath, and if it bites you, the venom means certain death. It would be hard to kill once the time Ragnarok came. The Norse myth of Ragnarok is as dramatic as it is beautiful. We see within it a story of cycles and fresh starts, deaths, renewals, and birthing of new ways and a new time. Ragnarok is the essence of all of this, a ripening of the world, a rotting, and then a death and rebirth. The first sign that Ragnarok has begun is with the Midgard serpent releasing its tail from its mouth and there being a great disturbance in the water. Huge waves begin to thrash the shores of Midgard. This is a warning to all. Soon Jormungand slithers its way up to the land and sprays its lethal poison as it goes, ruining the air and the water. It meets with its brother Fenrir, whose eyes are said to glow like the embers of a fire and who becomes hungry for blood. They join up with other allies out on a lonely plain where they all battle the gods. A great battle ensues for the balance of the universe. The battle between Thor and the Midgard serpent is a savage one described in great detail in the poetic Edda. Thor eventually manages to kill Jormungand, but then staggers 9 steps and dies, poisoned by the serpent's venom. The waters rise, many of the old gods and giants die, and the world is made anew. Your plant companion is common ivy. And your crystal companion is varisite, which I probably have some and just don't know what it is. And I always look it up, but I can't ever remember what it looks like. But we can get you some when we go to the mall. So, okay. Netter, I feel like what this card is saying is that just because things have been very rough up till this point doesn't mean they always will be. Your suffering, your confusion, your struggle and conflict, mainly inner and spiritual, is coming to an end very soon. Now, that doesn't mean you won't ever have this kind of chaos and conflict again, but it won't ever be this bad, right? It won't ever be to the point where you've gotten to, or in the last time I saw you, you were. I feel like this is telling you, like, you don't have to battle to save the world. You just have to fight a little bit to keep going, moving towards your destiny and your goals. You're taking on so much, and I don't even think you realize it because you're like, well, Gems, I don't really talk to anyone. I haven't seen anyone, aside from my parents and you, and like physical proximity, and I don't know how long, and nobody talks to me and all these things. But I feel like you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself. You're putting a lot of pressure on yourself that you should be at a certain point by now, right? So let's say you're like me, you're 42 years old. I don't know how old you actually are. I don't remember. That's another thing I wanted to talk to you about. But say you're 42, you should be like, well, I'm 42. I should have XYZ and be doing ABC by now. Who says? None of us are ever going to be normal, right? I don't think any of us ever were. I tried very hard to be most of my life. There's nothing set that says you have to have achieved or attained this by this point. And I feel like that's a lot of where a lot of your inner conflict is coming from, because you're putting all of these restrictions on yourself and all of these isms. Like, I don't know if that's the right way to say that, but just do what you can when you can, right? Just do the next thing and stop worrying 10 steps down the road and 50 steps down the line. And I know that's hard to be, especially for someone like you, to be unsure about your future. But it's not really being unsure. It's just like letting nature take its course. It's letting things happen as they happen and allowing things to not happen as they don't, right? There's nothing that should have happened by now. It's just not true. You're learning and growing and changing in this season of your life. And I feel like a lot of the reason you are scattered sometimes and unsure and confused and conflicted as you are is really, it's like you're your own worst enemy. Where if you can just sit back and accept, like, it is like, I hate to be cliche, but like, it is what it is. Like, things are changing very, very slowly. But once you look back on the last 5 months, you can see that things changed a lot more than you realize in the days as you go through the days, right? It's like when you don't see someone for 2 years and they gained 20 pounds, it looks like they gained a lot of weight. But had you seen them every day, the weight gain wasn't that significant for you to really even have noticed that they gained anything at all. But it's because once you look back on it, it'll be more significant than it is now. But everything you're doing right now is what you're supposed to be doing and what you should be doing. There is no other way. So stop putting so much pressure on yourself. Who's hanging out? Smoochie, I know you didn't ask me if Steve did me wrong.
Mark is next.
Nathan, we see you. I'm sure you'll be coming up soon.
Actually, I think he wants Kathy, not him, right?
Kathy, not him, yeah.
Yeah, they're actually next. So.
Okay. Juan, thank you. I do try. Mark, we're going to use the ancestor spirit. Guys, don't forget, I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok now. I'm also on Snapchat, but I don't do much over there. And Instagram is usually just everything I've already posted on YouTube and TikTok. I'm just trying to grow my brand to make more money, like actual income, you know, instead of having to depend on donations. I'm tired of hearing about that in the chat from people. Like, you know, go to work for 4 hours and don't make any money. You know, I'm tired of being made to feel bad about asking people to donate, you know? Okay, Mark, you got respect your physical body, detox, rejuvenate, and relax. Attend to your physical, emotional, and mental space. Like a buildup of dust, toxins, thoughts, ideas, and feelings can accumulate and start to dull your energies. Create a bubble in your routine where you can process and release stress, emotions, or physical impurities. Sweat it out in a sauna or with a run or walk in the fresh air. Notice what you are consuming and limit the processed foods, chemicals, or negativity that you're taking in. A cleansing diet or skin treatment will have benefits for your whole self. Mark, you've definitely gotten this card before, and I honestly just feel... Nathan, I am thinking about doing an oracle deck. I would need help though, and I don't. Like, it's literally just me and Ghost. That's it. So, somebody did offer to help me as far as like getting my stuff out there, getting it professionally edited, and being like a team behind me, but they want $150. I have $2 across 3 bank accounts right now. Like, I don't have the money, but I have been thinking about it. Mark, you've definitely gotten this card before. Okay. So in the next couple of weeks, I know that you're very cognizant of, you know, trying to think of a way to put this. Like, you know what you're putting into your body, you know the medications you're taking. I will say, you know, watch out for medicine. What's that called when they don't, when two medications or medications don't go together?
They interact with each other and cause reaction.
Watch for bad interaction in your medication. Just be more mindful in the next 2 weeks, right? So you're always cognizant of this because you have health problems, so they conflict. Yes, you have health problems, so you know, like, you're more aware than maybe someone who doesn't have any health problems at all would be of what you're consuming and all that. But for this card to come up again in the next couple of weeks, I want you to be super duper careful. Make sure when you take your medications, like, look at them, make sure they're the right thing. I feel like drug interaction. Yes, that is it. Thank you, guys. I feel like somebody is going to make a mistake that's going to affect you negatively. So you get food, the chicken's not all the way cooked, you're getting food poisoning, right? And this isn't like it's definitely going to happen, but be mindful of it, okay? And also, Mark, in the next couple of weeks, take time to replenish your spiritual energy. Okay, you give so much. I don't even think you realize how much more you give to those around you than those around you give to you. Start matching energy. Okay, you don't have to be nice to people who are unkind to you or rude to you. And it's like, while we all know that, how many of us actually put that into practice? Because every day I say, I'm not going to put up with it. I'm not taking it. And then I do, because I just feel like, why add to the conflict? But it's like, if you're not the one causing it, right? Don't let anyone get you so upset to the point where you make yourself sick or you end up getting sick. Okay. And be very, very careful with drug interaction precautions and the food that you're eating. Particularly, I'm seeing with like sugar. I don't know what any of this means. Just did that at a recent hospital stay. Yeah, make sure that you're pouring as much into yourself or more as you're pouring out into others. I feel like there are a lot of takers around you energetically, and they may not be doing it on purpose. If you're in the hospital on and off a lot, or even, every once in a while, you are being drained. The sick people around you can't help but take your energy. The dead walking around the hospitals that are inevitably there cannot help but take your energy, whether you're aware of it or not, especially sensitives like us. So be sure to protect yourself, relax, rejuvenate, and give back to yourself. And yes, Black Dragon, holding back your emotions can make you very, very sick, especially over the course of time. It can cause cancer. It can cause a litany of medical issues. Holding it in, holding over time, brain tumors. I'm not trying to scare y'all, but we really need to be mindful of the energy we give out and what we pour into. Andrew, ever since I started charging, my stream has been cut in half. And then when I kind of put my foot down about it, it got cut in half again. So, and some people just aren't feeling well and they have their own things going on. But I have noticed in the past few weeks, people just aren't interested in hanging out with me anymore. So, Kathy.
Wait, private chat. Sorry.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you for asking. Kathy, I'm going to use the Oracle of Shadows and Light. Nathan, I do have a Patreon, but the only thing I can do for my Patreon members is every month I send them a personal reading if they donate $20 or more. I'm locked out. I can't remember my password, and Patreon is telling me that I'm not giving them enough information because I've changed my phone number since I started the Patreon account. I have my email. I don't have the password and I don't have the phone number. So they locked me out of my Patreon and now I have no idea what to do about it. I've emailed them several times, especially recently, because I want to get in and make sure everyone's paying the $20, not some people are paying $5 and they're still getting, because it takes me a long time to do the readings. I want to send out birthday gifts for my patrons. I want to, my members too. I want to acknowledge them. I have so many things I want to do, but Patreon, yeah, I get like $40 a month, which doesn't make sense because I'm reading for like 8 people and you're supposed to pay $20 or more. So, but I can't get in. I can't get into it. All right, Miss Kathy. A lot of things are going to be more based on the people that have been around for a while, whether they're patrons and members or just like people that come in week after week and that comment. I want to focus more on those people who support me. So I am trying to get like the special emojis that you can get for your channel, like all that kind of stuff. I'm working on it, but I don't know. Like I'm very tech challenged and it is literally just me. My husband doesn't even have social media. He's completely disinterested in anything that I'm doing. So it's hard, but I'm definitely shifting focus to do things so I can work smarter and not harder. After Kathy's reading, I'm going to run to the little girl's room, but I'll be right back. Kathy, you got card number 26, the 3 Fates. What comes around? I love this card. So cute. It's happening again. Many of us have faced difficulty and troubled times in our lives. Sometimes the impact of a negative experience is so profound that it leaves us with physical, mental, and yes, spiritual residue for months or even years after the actual event. While you're still vibrating, as the three fates put it, to the energy of a negative experience, you tend to repeatedly attract echoes of that exact same experience. So when you need to be alerted to that fact, the three fates will enter, showing you that this is a karmic pattern that may need to be worked on, understood, and recreated in order to be free of its influence. Sorry. You may feel that there are others in charge of your fate, that they are threading the needle, weaving the patterns of the tapestry of your life, Kathy, even choosing what ends and what begins. When you feel that fate has interceded and that you are not so much in control of your life, but in control of your reaction to what happens in your life, then you're beginning to work with intelligence, maturity, and understanding. With the energies of destiny, fate, and fortune, the three fates depicted so beautifully in this picture, with their ever-turning wheel of karma, understand that it turns and turns as your life will through its many themes again and again. When you receive this card in a reading, and most especially if she leaps out to greet you, you will know an old pattern has circled around again. The three fates speak. Here it is again, that situation, that person, this lesson that you have yet to learn and that you may spend a lifetime learning. It seems you need another cosmic reminder of something that needs to be cleared and mastered. Letting go is this moment's very important lesson for you. We are not suggesting forgetting this lesson, because where's the wisdom in that? We're suggesting that you move on and learn and actively replace this experience with completely different versions of the same theme. No more repeats. This is the opportunity to try something different and see what magic takes place when you vary the approach. You must reconnect with the opportunities you have. Staying attached to old patterns will simply make them come round again, like a thread being spun on our wheel. Learn and be released from this part of the pattern that feels like unjust fate. Divination message. Kathy, you may have been enjoying your own life's reruns lately, wallowing through the memories of feeling sad, bittersweet, and nostalgic about the good old days, whatever they were, whenever they were exactly. You know what? It's fine to muse on the past. Your memories are precious, and they do need to be tended sometimes. But it's another thing altogether to be filled with regret, wishing you'd done things differently. Life is a constant do-over. You get a fresh chance every second you're alive. So stop beating yourself up. You have an opportunity to heal, to clear, and to no longer feel sad about the same things anymore. You can do things differently. You're not a prisoner of how they've always been done. What you've done, even if you judge it to be a mistake, can be reworked and learned from. That's the wisdom. You are so not alone. We all have karmic lessons, themes, stories that seem to repeat. Learn from it. Be aware of what's taking place as a fateful encounter to master life. If you take this approach, you'll be all the richer for learning, wise, free, and able to help others too. Okay. Good night, Mark. Kathy, yeah, I do feel a sense of something repeating for sure. But there's a twofold thing I'm seeing here, right? Because I read intuitively. So it isn't just about what the book says. And most times I pick up other things outside of that as well. It kind of just leads me into where you are in your energy and spiritually. Kathy, I will say there's something that is coming back around, as the card said. And the thing is, I don't even think you're aware that you are able to stop it in its tracks, right? Even if you've already somehow gotten re-involved, just say, for example, it's like a toxic relationship and this is your ex coming back around again for another chance, right? Even if you've already taken that person back, you still have the opportunity to walk away. Good night, Miss Pixie. Thank you so much. Nothing's ever really set in stone. We have the option of free will. And I'm not saying it will be easy. I'm not saying, it's nothing. But whatever this is that's come back around, that you've already gotten yourself involved in or that you're about to, you are able, if you're willing, to walk away from it. That's why you're being warned of it. The universe is like, when is enough, Kathy? When are you going to say it's not that you haven't said it. When are you going to mean what you say when you say, I can't do this anymore? And this is not a judgment or an indictment, baby girl. I am a recovering addict. I know what it's like to go back to bad situations over and over again. It took 28 detoxes, okay? I'm also feeling too, though, that there's something that's going to come in the next couple of weeks, that it's like this repeating pattern. But this thing, it's like an immediate connection that you're going to make of like, the last time I did something like this or tried something like this out or was involved with this person, no, like it didn't work out right. I'm not doing it. And you're going to immediately put your foot down. So why can't you? I know, Andrew, I know. So why can't you reconcile the two together and see that just as quickly as you shut this situation down, you can still do that with the one now? You're not beholden to anyone. You don't owe anyone closure or explanations or anything like that. People know the lives they've lived. If somebody did something to you, they know that they did it, right? They just may not want to be they may not want to be honest with themselves. And you may not be honest with yourself because deep down inside, you know exactly how this is going to turn out. No matter how much hope you have or how badly you're trying to manifest a better outcome, it is simply not going to be. And you know that. And yet, for some reason, you still are seemingly willing to give it a chance. And I'm telling you here and now with the 3 fates, it's not a part of your destiny. The part of your destiny with this repeating pattern is to master it, move on from it, and never experience it again. So, yeah, Andrew said something interesting that I say all the time. Where is it? Pretty sad nobody likes Gemma like they used to. I don't feel like it's that people don't like me the way they used to. I feel like people didn't genuinely like me to begin with. They just wanted something from me. And when I refused to give it, they don't like that, you know? Which, again, I'm fine with because I do know who supports me and who's, you know, always here. Is it frustrating? Yeah, you know, and it's hurtful. But for me, it's like I'm here for me to give people messages, to spread hope and positivity. But I'm also here to make money. And if people can't understand that, then maybe I'm not for them. Tell her she is so very welcome. I will be right back.
Wait.
Bye, Nathan. Good night. Thank you. Who's next?
Josephine, go to the bathroom and take care. And I'll let Josephine know when she comes back from the little girl's room, you are next. Okay? For now, I'm going to entertain Juan. I'm sorry. I had to do that. Hope everybody's having a good night. Have a good night, Nathan and Kathy. I can't help, still a kid at heart. You know, I can do a movie if you want me to. I'm going to kick your butt. No, you're not. You're too fat. Oh, sorry. Didn't mean that way. You're too large. I hope everybody's having a good week. I had a good week and having a wonderful, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I should be here tomorrow night. Unless rock falls on my head or my tail gets caught in a cave somewhere. King Kong for the win. I don't know. He didn't win in the movie, so. But he did in the first one. If you watch, well, he didn't even win in that one. They kind of draw in the original King Kong versus Godzilla, or Godzilla versus King Kong. They don't really show you what happens to either one of them. They did, yeah, okay, Josephine, when she comes back, you're next. In the original, all you see is Godzilla swimming away, and Kong was swimming away, or is it Godzilla? No, you see King Kong swimming away, and Godzilla sinks to the bottom of the ocean. In the new movie, Godzilla kind of stands on his chest, but who knows? Oh, sorry. Hi.
Mm-hmm.
You back? You ready?
In a second.
Sure.
Hey, Bobby. That's okay if you want to lurk. All right, Josephine, I got you. Give me 1 second, please.
I can't tell you, Shelley. It's
Who's next?
My cave. What's in my cave is a secret.
Who's after Josephine? I'm asking.
Sam B.
Sam D, let us know you're here, please. Josephine, I'm going to use human spirit. All right, you're next, sweetie. Josephine, you got I'm golden in the reverse. Oh no, it's actually upright. Look, reverse. Card number 8. That is awesome. I love when you guys meet in like person. And you've met not only on this stream, I know throughout the community, but I just think that's so cool. Josephine, solid 18 karat, 24 karat, or just gold plated? What does this mean to you? Are you golden in a way where you have dipped everything in your life into a shiny overcoating, leaving you to feel lackluster on the inside? Or are you truly golden from the inside out? Meaning you have tended to your needs both mentally and physically. You have put in the work, the self-love, and have checked your mind, body, and soul, and are feeling above all else full of that golden shine. Know your worth. If you're unsure about something you feel, do a little digging until you get to the heart of the matter. A little personal mining, if you will. Sometimes we need to back away at the stone to get to our glimmer and shine. When we shine, we leave a little glow wherever we go. Remember, even gold must be pulled from a dull rock. Josephine, yeah, I feel like you could be feeling like you failed at something, or Josephine, sorry. I feel like you could be feeling like you failed in some area, or kind of like I said to Netter, where it's like, I should be doing this by this point, right? The universe is telling you in the next 2 weeks, make sure that you're taking a step back to really see how far you've come. Growing, learning, and changing, not just mentally and physically, but spiritually as well, energetically. Everything that you've been through, everything that you've learned from, all the repeating patterns like we just talked about, you're not giving yourself enough credit for what you have achieved and what you have accomplished. Because I feel like, and if you're not doing this in the next couple of weeks, you're going to start, it's like you're setting the bar at what you have, what others can see that you've accomplished, right? Like you have what to outsiders looks like an amazing job, but you're miserable in it. But you keep that job because, you know, everyone else thinks it's so awesome. How could you possibly give it up? You know what I'm saying? Or everyone else thinks you have the perfect relationship. So you keep up that facade instead of ending that toxic relationship and finding an actual perfect relationship, which would be one that's just perfect for you. You're setting the bar too high on yourself and comparing yourself too much with what other people are doing, or with what you were always told, right? What you were told you should be doing by now, or what your parents were doing at this point in their life. It's like this constant comparison. And I don't think it's just you that's making it. I think people around you are telling you like, oh, you're X old, you should have done this, that, or the other. Or remember when you had the choice to do that, you should have done that. Like it's regretting all of these mistakes, things that seem like mistakes now too, but they're not mistakes. They've gotten you right to where you are, and right where you are is where you're supposed to be right now. So Josephine, stop dwelling and thinking that you haven't achieved enough things or acquired enough things. Look back and really spiritually seek inside of yourself of how much you've learned and how much you've grown and changed over the course of the last few years, how you've survived and come out stronger, the insane things that have happened to you that you feel most people wouldn't have been able to get through. Being where we feel comfortable in life and being where we're meant to be doesn't always mean we have the best of everything or our life looks beautiful from the outside looking in. Life is hard for everybody and everybody has problems. I'm sure if there's someone you're looking at, like, what does this person know about problems? I guarantee you they have problems because everybody does. And I can say that confidently. Josephine, give yourself some credit and give yourself a break. And anyone who's not being supportive of you, kick them to the curb. It's time to walk away. That's what you should be shedding. That's what you should be critical of. Not that we should be critical of the people around us, but if they're being critical of us, turn that lens right back around on them. Josephine, you are a warrior and a survivor, and you're right where you need to be. Please do not let anything anyone else says or thinks about you, particularly and specifically in the next couple of weeks, make you feel like you've done something wrong in your life. Because you haven't. You've done what was right for you at the time you were doing it. Juan, his psycho girlfriend, was convinced that we were in love and going to run off together and started threatening me over Facebook Messenger. Yeah. Then when I told her off and blocked her, she told him that because I didn't grovel and apologize for literally doing nothing except existing in his space over the computer, that was proof of my guilt of being in love with him. I love him. Her, she's got problems. As for the person who came in, I didn't see the name. I charged $2 per card to my PayPal or Cash App. $4 if you donate through YouTube because they take half. And with one card, sometimes it's hard to answer a question. That's why I offer personals, but I can usually pull it off. You know how when someone's a narcissist and they're constantly lying and cheating and scheming and being toxic, they always end up with the most beautiful souls who would never do that to them, but then they put all that on the beautiful soul because they're the ones doing it. That's what that situation was. He's way too good for her. Way too good for her. Yeah, well, women with confidence who are just regular people, like, they don't have issues with me. But a lot of women, even in my real life, will take one look at me and hate my guts. I've had that happen my whole life, though. So for me, it's like, if that happens to me with a woman or a man, but it usually happens with women, because it does happen to me where I look at them and I'm like, ugh, there's a reason. If I'm doing that outside of a spiritual reason, I know for a fact there is something about that person that I'm jealous of. So I turn it in my head and I go out of my way to say something nice, not fake compliment them, but to turn whatever my initial snap criticism was into something complimentary. And I do that for me so that I can stop comparing myself to others. So much emphasis was placed on my looks when I was little. All throughout my life growing up, so much emphasis placed on how I looked, on how thin I was, on how tall I was, on how pretty I was. And nobody paid attention to the fact that I was an honor roll student who would have been skipped 2 grades because they didn't do AP classes back in the 80s. They skipped you. So I would have skipped 3rd grade and I would have skipped 5th grade if my parents had allowed it. Nobody ever paid attention to any of that. It was always about my looks. So now sometimes I'll find myself being like really just not liking somebody who is extremely good looking. And they say that the best way for you to be hated and trolled on social media is to be a conventionally attractive woman. That is the number one thing that will have people troll you and treat you poorly on social media. And they come at me about everything. And you know what? It's almost never about the content. It's always about my looks. That I'm wearing wigs, my crooked teeth, my nails. I mean, I've been stripped down and beaten up publicly, which I don't care anymore. Now I just am like, you're a grown adult trying to bully and body shame another grown adult on the internet. you're not better than me. But when someone is like a regular person, like you can be around someone who's, you think about what people say, not how are we the age that we are. Like if we're over 30 and you're still judging people based on the way that they look, that's your problem, right? Divine empathic. Who's next? I know you said
Sam
it, but
D.
I don't remember. That's why I'm
Sam D.
asking.
Sam.
All right,
No, you're
Miss
fine.
Sam D. Backwards. Sam D, I'm going to use the Lantern Oracle. Well, I usually get rid of the comments right away. Like I'll respond, and then get rid of the comments so that they can see my response, but they can't say anything back. Yeah, I mean, it gets pretty pathetic when like 50-year-old men are body shaming me on YouTube. Like, thank you, Black Dragon. No, you guys do. And that's why, like, I'm good. I used to really let it get to me and it used to really hurt me. But now I'm like, what kind of a loser do you have to be? But that's also why I stopped myself from doing it, right? Because I know what that feels like to be like, wow, this person doesn't even know me. And they're just, if I don't want to watch something that someone's doing, I just keep going, I don't feel the need to tell them their content stinks or, I don't like them. You're so welcome, Josephine. Thank you. Thank you, Kelly. You guys are so sweet.
The only reason I'm here is because she's got me chained.
Oh, there's a strike. YouTube. Yeah. Yep. They body shame me. Yep. A couple of weeks ago, someone called me a CUNT. Like flat out just called me one for literally no reason. It's like a 15-second short. And they crazy. All right, Sam D, I hope you're listening. I know you said you were here. Card number 30, voice. You are here to be known, so speak and be seen. Okay. Absolutely, Juan. I absolutely agree. You've got to be really low. Sam D, family culture and society can often demand silence and invisibility. Sometimes early in life, silence and invisibility are even the necessary means for survival. That was me. Make myself as small as possible, don't get into any trouble, and just try not to be noticed. However, at some point in our lives, we need to release our light from the shadows and shine our uniqueness into the world. Sam D, initially, the very thought of expressing ourselves may stir up fears of being criticized, rejected, or abandoned. Nonetheless, it is always up to us whether such fears stop us or we persist alongside them until they dissipate. To withhold our unique gifts results in trapped energy that turns negative and is potentially toxic to our health and well-being. Allowing our spirit self to sing nourishes and expands us. Our wings mend by expressing our voices. Flight is possible when we express ourselves in ways that others can truly know and connect with us. The Guardian assures you that living according to your spirit self's voice will never betray you. It is you and has your back, often in ways that are not immediately obvious. Nonetheless, hindsight will always reveal that being true to yourself is the way of fulfilling the love, security, and completeness that you seek. It is a time of tuning in to your voice from your heart's center. It may involve tuning out any unsupportive external forces. Much joy can be had in exploring every medium or form that inspires you. Allow your body, thoughts, and heart to breathe in tune with your spirit self's beat and vitality so miracles and blessings can teach you. You are the only person who can proceed to make you invisible or silent. Once you accept yourself, no one and nothing can have the limiting effects of judgment, criticism, or rejection over you anymore. It's always up to you to let no doubt or fear have the power to bury you in the muting shadows. Remember that every perceived rejection, setback, or failure is a lesson forming your pathway to the doors that open. Only you can stop yourself from walking through. Guardian's message, your difference is your blessing and responsibility to share. And that's absolutely not only what we were just talking about with me, Samdy, and I'm going to call you Sandy. I hope you don't mind. It's just easier than Samdy. It doesn't roll off the tongue. I hope that's okay. this is what we kind of been talking about all night, right? Not muting ourselves or dimming our lights to fit in, or not to cause a stir, or to create controversy. Like sometimes that's exactly what we're meant to do in the moment. Sandy, you've been way too silent for way too long about something. And I feel like we were talking about before as well, when you hold emotions in and you hold them in and you hold them in, you can end up really physically ill. Spiritual dis-ease doesn't always, but it can cause physical disease, okay? Sicknesses of the body. You are either sick right now or on the verge of becoming sick. And I'll tell you one of the reasons. This doesn't mean don't go to a doctor, but one of the reasons is because you have stifled yourself. You've allowed someone else or other people to silence you, and that's stunted your growth. Okay? The universe is telling you through this card that it is time for you to stop trying to be everyone's friend. It's okay if certain people don't like you. And maybe this isn't everyone, but in one situation, you do not want to offend someone because you haven't said what you know, what you feel deep down inside. I feel like you know exactly what's going on. You know that the situation, the person, whatever it is wrong. You know why. You might even know how to fix it, but you refuse to say anything because, that might cause a bigger problem. So what? Sometimes we have to be the ones that address the elephant in the room. It'll be awkward. Like the one time, my one family member she's an alcoholic, and every single time she gets drunk, no matter where we are or what we're doing, she starts fights. And she physically assaults her significant other. She curses everyone out. She calls the police every single time for years. And everyone was like, well, I don't want to go to so-and-so's house. I don't even want to go to the party. It's going to be fun, but so-and-so is going to act up. So finally one day I was just like, this person was like, I can't believe, nobody's coming. And I was like, honey, you're in the NFL. No friends left. I don't understand why. And I just flat out told her right in front of like 5 of the people who had said they're not coming to this thing. I said, it's because you get drunk and act like a fool every time and nobody wants to come to your house and deal with the drama. Now I addressed the elephant in the room. Everyone was just, and there were some people in the room who were upset at me for bringing this to her attention. She already knew. You think these people don't know what they're doing? They just constantly and consistently get away with it so much because everyone's on eggshells not wanting to say anything about it. You have to put a stop to this. Unless it's someone who's going to physically harm you, you have got to air it out. Pull the veil or sheet off the elephant in the room and be like, this is what's actually going on. You know it. Maybe you're not aware, but you are now. Then nobody can say in the end that they didn't know. Or, they would have said something, but you've got to be the one to stand up for not only yourself, but I'm seeing other people involved here too. I'm just seeing someone or some situation that is very toxic, very negative, and it's like people just keep getting sucked into it, yourself included, because nobody wants to confront the bigger issue. Sandy, I don't know what this means to you, but please find that confidence and courage to gracefully approach what and or whoever this is in the next 2 weeks and just lay it on the line. You may even be surprised to see the positive changes that come from this. Now, more than likely, you're going to be the pariah, and this person or these people are going to play victim for a little while. But once you voice whatever this is first, once you bring this out into the open, it's going to become much easier for others to do so. And this person's reign of terror or the reign of terror of this situation is going to, at the very least, die down. But you can't be afraid of losing your job, right? So if this is your boss, you're obviously not going to tell your boss off. But what I am telling you is, regardless of how this resonates, if you don't say something about what and or whoever this is in the next 2 weeks, you're going to end up losing. Like, if you don't say something, it's for fear of, for example, I'm just going to use this as an example, which may or may not be true. Say you don't say anything for fear of losing your job. What I'm seeing here is that even if you don't say something, you're going to lose your job anyway. Please open up, be the voice of not only yourself, but everyone else who's under this like reign of tyranny is all I keep hearing. Somebody needs to be held accountable. And until this person's held accountable once, okay, which hopefully will be by you, they're never going to stop. But once people start calling them out on the behavior, they're going to be forced to change it or lose everything. And I don't think you're going to be the first person to bring this up, to be honest. I think other people around this person that you may not know or have any involvement with have been talking to this person about whatever this is. Okay? So now it's like it's filtering over into work life. I feel like it could eventually, not right away, eventually have a very positive effect on this person and could end up being a very positive outcome for you. Who's next?
Shelley.
All right, Miss Shelley. Let's use spirit animal. This deck was a birthday gift for Miss Julie Girl. Guys, don't forget, I haven't said it yet tonight, please donate whatever you can to my PayPal or Cash App. You don't have to just donate for the readings. Whatever money I make tonight is my money for the week. I only get paid once a month by YouTube. And like I said, I'm pretty sure I just got screwed out of my last paycheck from the people I was writing for. So they've screwed me for the last time, though, because if that money's not in my account by the end of the night, I'm going public. And I've got a lot to say. You're very welcome. Kelly, you're going to be next after Miss Shelley. I knew you were going to get this card. It was at the bottom of the deck staring right at me. You got the owl, and the owl is the card of retreats. It's so good to see you, Shelley. I'm so glad you came in tonight. The spirit of the owl is inviting you to retreat, to be alone and to be silent. Many people are afraid of this. They see solitude as loneliness, silence as dullness, and inactivity as boredom. Our modern Western life is always full of demands and noise. It keeps our mind busy, but we can rarely find true answers and inspiration in this constant turmoil. Sometimes it's beneficial and even necessary to remove ourselves from this frenetic world and get back to ourselves. Take a bit of time in nature, put down your smartphone, switch the TV off, and enjoy this moment of respite. Your mind, as well as your body, needs to have a rest. You may be surprised by the insights you receive when you pause for a moment and listen to your inner voice. Take some time to retreat and enjoy being alone. Guys, I have some family stuff going on, so give me 1 second. Shelley, I will be right back. I just want to check who that message was from.
Okay. So after Shelley, of course, is Kelly. Then Ashley, daughter of mine, Baby Dragon, if you're listening, you'll be after Kelly. Then Divine. Then Black Dragon. And then we'll go from there. I hope everybody, again, is had a good week and having a wonderful weekend. Like I said, I should be here tomorrow night. Just give her a second. Like she said, she's got a lot going on. So just give her a minute. And Melissa, you're coming up too, honey. You're after Divine. My fault. I moved you for some reason because I thought you left, but I was going to have you get a timestamp, but you popped back in. So I figured you were listening. Yeah, I'll have you after working and listening. Okay, hon. I'll have you after Divine. So when you hear Divine called, you'll know you're up next, okay? And if you miss it, just let me know. I'll go ahead and... Ghost, I got a message at the same time she did. That's why. Thank you, hon. You're welcome.
All right, guys, I'm back. Sorry about that. Miss Shelley, it's time for you to start worrying about Miss Shelley, okay? And not, not in a selfish way, not in a way that you avoid, helping others if you can. But I just feel like you either are right now or you're becoming. No, he's not husband material. That you are right now, or you're about to start feeling very overwhelmed. There's going to be a lot of confusion because I feel as though, Shelley, you know more about where you're at spiritually than I think you realize most times. I feel as though you are looking for someone to validate something for you. You're looking for support. You're not getting those things though from this one particular person. And I feel as though the universe is saying, connect with nature if you can, right? Get back to the basics of Shelley, doing things that Shelley loves, that Shelley enjoys, instead of worrying who is going to be happy with what you're doing or what you're saying and who isn't, right? This is you deciding that you are most important to you right now. And that's okay to do. It doesn't mean you don't care for or do anything for other people, but it means you're putting yourself first for once and for all. Because once you do that, just doing that, just saying that, invalidating it with one action is going to show you who's really there for you and cares about you and who isn't. The minute you say, no, I'm sorry, I can't do that, I'm taking myself to a movie today, or I'm taking myself out for coffee this morning, you see the reactions. You see the reactions of the people around you. And that's how you're going to know who's there for you and who isn't. And I feel like you already know deep down inside who's there and who's really for you and who isn't. But there's this radical unacceptance. And I think we all go through this, at least with one person or another in our lives. And most of us go through it several times, where you know that someone is not for you, but you hope so much that one day they'll see that they are. Whoever this is not going to have a moment of clarity. Okay? Ask questions. Do for yourself without asking, right? I'm doing this today, and then that's it. And if something doesn't feel right, you're a human being. You have every right to ask someone to answer for something that doesn't feel right to you. Now, whether or not they do is on them, but you don't have to sit and suffer in silence wondering something that someone else can just answer for you. Shelley, you really need a reset and a reboot, okay? Again, like unplugging from technology if you can, not using it as a lifeline, getting out, getting some sun, some fresh air, communicating with nature. Do you know what I'm saying? Doing these small things for you so that you can make yourself feel good. Don't look for anyone around you to make you feel good or validate you. And that's really, really hard. But I feel like you really need to start training yourself to do that. Not because no one will be around, but what if, in case there ever isn't, and you're alone and you're having one of those days, the universe, spirit wants you to be able to pull yourself up out of those depths. For once and for all. Until the next time, really. Not even for all. Just till the next time. And to become accustomed to being as kind to yourself as you are to everyone else. We are all so kind and charitable to others. But when we look at ourselves, there's no kindness, there's no charity, there's no grace. And that just can't be. You deserve better. Who's next, Kelly?
Yes.
Kelly, I'm going to use Elque. Yes, Nomeo says grounding. How did you put it here? Grounding yourself in bare feet in nature, which definitely works. Maputla, she who guides, new path, guide, and renewal. Maputla, she who guides, adorns herself in the palest of colors. Her name means pale in Tagalong. Even her hair shimmers in shades of silver, white, and gray. Blue ribbons match her eyes, which gaze back at you. On her shoulder perches a small bird, perhaps a long-tailed cousin of the effervescent nuthatch, who is known for leading the way headfirst down a tree. Bells dangle from Maputla's shoulders. Bells call us to so many things. Kelly, she wears them as reminders of the beginning notes of the day. She brings renewal as her gift. If you watch and listen, she may show you a new path to take. Maputla is your guide who leads the way. The message of this card is to look for a new path. Stop for a moment to consider your course of action. Listen for the sound of the bell in the song of a bird, the laugh of a child, or even in the call to worship. Promise yourself, Kelly, that you'll make time for renewal, just like I just said to Shelley. By honoring yourself with space and quiet, you'll be able to more easily recognize the guideposts you do need to follow. This moment is not for action. Even the nuthatch must pause for a moment to locate the next tree. So in what ways are you open to guidance? Where are you heading and how do you change that? And what can you do today to give yourself space, peace, and quiet? Okay? Kelly, I feel like what this card is saying in the overall is that, well, first and foremost, okay, thank you, because I just got screamed at. First and foremost, do not make any major decisions. Thank you, Divine. I like this one too. I appreciate you. Do not make any major decisions in the next 2 weeks, okay? I feel like somebody is trying to push you into making a decision, all right? And if that's not happening, it is going to be. So watch out for it because it's going to be subtle, but it's like this sneaky, tricky manipulation of somebody trying to get you to decide something that you are not sure of and not ready to decide. I'm not saying you have to sit in quiet meditation on this, but you definitely need some time to yourself to think about what you're going to do next. What changes do you need to make? And what changes can you make right now? Those are two very different questions because sometimes what we need to do isn't possible in the moment that we need to do it. We can only do what we can until those moments come. Kelly, I don't envy your position here. I do feel a very confused energy of like, well, I want to do this, but I know I should do this, but this person wants me to do that. If you took away everyone else's opinion, everyone else wants and needs and feelings and all of that, and only focused in on you, which again is very hard to do because most of us have been taught that it's very selfish to do that. But I'm telling you, it's not. Your team is saying it's not. Take time to really think about where do you want to be in a year, 5 years, 10 years, and which decision would you need to make in this current situation that would be most advantageous for you to achieve those things in a year, 5 years, 10 years. In the next 2 weeks, don't make any major decisions and do not be on guard for someone trying to manipulate you into deciding something you are not ready to decide. You will regret it. You absolutely will regret it. Even if your instincts are telling you to go one way and you choose that way, you just should not be making decisions right now about anything truly major in your life. And I feel like the more someone pushes you, the more you're just going to want to get them to leave you alone and shut up about it, and you're going to do it. Don't do it. Black Dragon beautifully said, it's never selfish to finding your true self. It's what we're here for, literally. Who's next?
Baby Dragon.
Baby Dragon, let's use Raven Wand. You're welcome. Mistakes teach us in the upright. As one of Wildwood's senior witches, Lena Zuri watches the coven's youngest learn to mount and fly a lightning staff. The inexperienced witches will fall many times and likely earn plenty of bruises, but mistakes are good. Without mistakes, we would not progress. Each time a young witch falls, Lena resists the urge to fuss over them, knowing they have to take a few knocks in order to find independence. The same is true for our own loved ones. Our dreams, plans, and hopes for them have to be robust enough to take a few hits. Otherwise, when a really strong gust comes along, they'll be ill prepared. So, baby dragon, I feel like there's twofold to this. One is having to do with your children or somebody else very close to you. You see them making a bad decision, making a bad choice. And you want to, of course, run in and fix it, right? Whether you're their mom or whoever this is to you, they're very near and dear to your heart. And I do think it is your children or one of your children, but it could be anyone. So take it as it resonates. The universe does not want you to step in right away. This person, however old they are, needs to learn this lesson that actions have consequences. Okay, there's nothing detrimental or life-changing, life-altering that's going to happen from them making this poor choice or this bad decision and learning from it. So in the next 2 weeks, do everything you can not to get involved. And I know you have, I believe you have minor children. I'm not talking about letting them run rampant and do whatever they want and let them get hurt. I'm talking about a decision that you can easily make for them, but there's so much resistance that you could just be like, you know what, then, if that's what you want to do and you don't want to listen to me, go ahead and do it and let them learn. Okay. They can only gain from this at this time. As far as you're concerned, you are a grown woman. Nobody has the right to tell you what you should be doing, what you should be thinking, how you should be behaving, what you should be. Nobody should be dictating any of this to you. If someone makes a polite suggestion, that's fine once. There is somebody that is overbearing on you. I just see them pressing down on your energy. Like you're trying to make the best choices that you can for you and for your kids and for your future. And there's someone constantly who, by the way, isn't really doing much to help at all, but who has no problem sitting on the sidelines, judging the work you're doing. Right? Whether it be actual work or just how you live your day-to-day life. I say F that. It's perfectly okay to let someone's advice, no matter how well-intentioned, and I don't even think this is well-intentioned advice, to go in one ear and out the other and not spend another second on it. Baby dragon, in the next 2 weeks, this is going to be a major test for you of validating yourself. And we've talked about this before tonight. Validating yourself. Telling yourself you did a good job and meaning it and knowing it, receiving it well. Knowing that it's okay to make mistakes because that's what humans do. And anyone who says that they've never made a mistake or they would have done differently, good for them. You know, at the end of the day, it's your life. They're your decisions and your mistakes to make. Baby dragon, stop letting someone put pressure on you in any area of your life. But specifically when it comes to one particular thing in the next couple of weeks, there is a big decision that needs to be made here. It is yours and yours alone. There's someone else here who really didn't do much, wasn't involved with this from the beginning, whatever it is, and now they want to have the final say in a major decision about it. And that just is not how this is going to work. And if you allow that to happen, you're going to be pulled all the way back. You're going to have to relive it, redo it again in some other way and learn from this. This is a major lesson of doing what you know is absolutely right for you and your family, regardless of the consequences of someone being upset with you, someone being angry with you, someone being mad with you. It doesn't matter. This is nobody else's choice to make but yours. And as far as the other situation, again, I feel like it's something that would be so easy for you to stop from happening, but you shouldn't. It's like a reverse psychology. Let this person see what it's like when you're not helping. Okay? When they're left to their own devices in this situation. Is it going to be painful for them? I don't think physically, maybe emotionally a little bit, but they are not going to be traumatized by this. This person needs to learn the lesson of being respectful, of listening. And this is why I think it might be one of your kids. And of understanding that when mom says no, there's always a reason behind it. We don't just say no to be mean, right? One of your kids has a valuable lesson to learn as well. Let them learn from you, right? You're telling someone else, don't get involved. I can make my own choices, or you should be. And then make that choice without any outside influence. All right? If you allow someone to influence your decision, it's fine. It might still work out for you, I'm not sure. But what I do see is all the way back to the beginning, and now you have to relearn this lesson by going through a similar situation where you're in control of the outcome. Who's next?
Divine.
All right, Miss Divine, I see you. Let's use deep, dark, and dangerous. Yeah, Pamela. There you go, Black Dragon. The Mormolakaya. I've pulled this before, but not in a while. Melissa Nicole, you're next. Card number 22. This is the card of service. Service does not mean servitude. Service should not be blind or bind you. Do not give your time to people who do not appreciate you. Justice will be done. The Mormolakaya were female demons of the underworld associated with the goddess Hecate. The term can be translated to mean terrible wolves. There is confusion about what the Mormolakaya actually were. Many scholars believe that they couldn't be as benevolent as, say, the boogeyman used to scare children into being good, or completely at the other extreme, blood-sucking shapeshifters who preferred young men to eat. Remembering that dark goddesses such as Hecate had their stories twisted for the negative once Christianity washed over the continent, the truth of Mormolakaya may have been somewhere in between. Hecate was said to have control over dogs and wolves, and that canines of all kinds barked when she was near. This alone would atone for the fact that Hecate may have had wolves or wolf-like creatures working with her. She may too have had daemons, which were benevolent creatures, not demons, working with her to assist her in revenge or justice. These may have been terrible to look upon, or it may have been terrible to feel their wrath. If indeed Mormolakaya were the monsters they were made out to be, these women who were vampiric and took the form of beautiful seductresses, then their victims may not have been all love and light either. Not always is being of service easy. Not always is finding justice easy. Your plant companion is hellebore, and your crystal companion is jasper. So, Divine, okay, let's start with the service, right? Acts of service. I feel like you kind of have your own routine going on now. You've learned a major lesson in the past couple of years. You've gotten out of something very toxic. You're doing well. Nobody's life is perfect, but I feel like you genuinely are, or really should be, happy with so many of the choices that you've made, and you feel good in them, that you genuinely made the right decisions for you and your child. However, I do feel like someone is trying to use all of your good deeds against you. They're so wrapped up in themselves that they feel like even the good things you do are to make them look bad, right? The only reason you're being kind to them when they're such a horrible person is because you're trying to make them look bad. The only reason you're, earning your degree is because you want to make them look stupid. The only reason you're such a great mom has nothing to do with the fact that you love your child. It's just so that you can make this person look like a bad parent, right? This person is so narcissistic and wrapped up in themselves, and they are trying to throw you off your game big time. They don't want to see you succeed. They don't want to see you win. And I know this is a common theme in your readings, and I'm sorry for being repetitive, but I can only tell you what's coming up. It's like this person's toxicity, like it dims for a week or two, and then it's like back to full force. Don't let this person, particularly in the next 2 weeks, make you lose sight of your ultimate goals, right? Making you second guess your choices and decisions. Another running theme, making you question your own reality. Like, am I doing the right thing? Have I made the right choice? Yes, you have. And if you look deep down in yourself and not listen to the toxic narcissistic voice that's telling you all these negative things, you will see that. Know that deep down inside and be confident in your inner knowledge and in your inner strength. Now, there's either a situation connected to this one or a separate situation altogether where you are seeking justice of some kind. Be very, very patient, okay? And understand that it only seems like even though you're doing everything right, you kind of can't win in a certain situation, or you're not winning as much as you should be, or as much as others that you know in the same situation have. You are going to get everything you're asking for and everything you desire in this situation, but you have many lessons to learn as you go through it, and that's why it's going to be drawn out with some injustices. The balance will be returned, okay, to your spirit, to your energy, and to your life. The less you deal with this person, who I'm sure you know who it is. I'm not sure I do. I think I do, but I'm not 100% sure, but you should know. The less you deal with this person, the better, because they are doing everything they can to bring you down, even if that means making you think that they're not going to be doing anything, that they're backing away, they're throwing in the towel, like they agree with you. It's all a manipulation tactic to try to get you to mess up so they can try to make you look bad. They honestly think that every step you take, every move you make, they'll be watching you. No, they think that it all has to do with them. But think about that for a minute, Divine. That's because everything they think and do has to do with you. And that is a dangerous person. Everything they do is to try to hurt you, spite you, or bring you down. Okay. I would do it. I would take it slow, but I would definitely do it. The balance is going to be restored. You just have lessons to learn. And don't let anyone talk you out of that, because whether it works out for you financially or not, I'm definitely seeing that you're going to learn something really great through this process that you need to learn, that you're otherwise going to have to learn down the line through something completely different happening. Melissa, it's all you, girl. My mermaid ring always gets stuck in my hair every single time. And I always forget. Sorry, guys. Let me unhook this. It's very annoying because it knots up my hair. There we go. How many more do we have?
Melissa's the last of the ones. Okay, so next to Black Dragon. And then it's just timestamps and whatever you
decide. Okay, timestamps tonight is just Lotus.
Okay.
Melissa, I'm going to use Dark Goddesses. Divine, okay, yeah. Yeah, sounds like they need a life. Good. Two separate situations, for sure. I saw that separation there, and I'm just like, I hope this crazy person doesn't have any influence over the other situation, because you're welcome, sweetie, and thank you. What is with these names tonight? Tlazol Teodol. The card of purification. Sounds fitting already. Melissa, it's time to purify your life and your surroundings. You're craving peace and nourishment, but first you need to wash away the negative forces in your life. Look closely at where your energy is going and what is draining you. Now is the time to release what no longer serves you. Tlazotrar is guiding you through transformation of old ways and into newer, healthier habits. So this isn't just about telling you like you need to spiritually cleanse. I mean, you already know what your situation is. You already know the steps you should be taking, like, but should be is a lot different than what you're actually doing, right? I feel like in the next couple of months, it's not just you, though. There's a divine hand in this. So whether you believe that's God or Jesus or just your spirit team, the universe, your higher self, even, you are being guided to where it's just not acceptable anymore. Like, we all have a breaking point. Bat mom, I do sometimes, be honest with you, when I'm reading for like me or like personally, I can't. You're getting to that point where, you know, I don't even think you're falling out of love, right? And love is what's keeping you trapped, because with love, there's this hope that this person will have this moment of clarity, even, deep, deep down inside that they're never going to. There's this teeny tiny little part of you that's like, well, we've been through this much, and, I know, but clearly, and I mean this with no judgment, and I think some personal things about me that I would never judge you in this. It's almost like you're not capable of making those choices right now while you're under the spell and toxicity of this abuse. So the universe is sending in some help. It's going to take a long time, and it's already been so long. But you are slowly but surely falling out of love. And once that love is gone, then that's when you're finally going to realize, it's so easy for someone on the outside who's not invested to be like, obviously leave him. That's why I hate when people say that, because you're not thinking of the person who's going through this. Obviously someone would, right? If it were possible, there's something keeping you there. You hit your breaking point. It's going to be a little longer. You're going to be hurt a few more times. But I do see you finally just like, this whole situation is ridiculous and laughable, and I deserve better. Like, you're getting there. I deserve better, right? Hang in there. Do as much for you as you possibly can, separate of this person, and do your very, very best. Try as hard as you can to not worry about what they're doing when they're not with you, right? I know that's hard, but little by little by little, now you're being divinely guided. Now is the time you're going to be able to walk away. If you do start falling out of love with this person, I would be very careful, though, not to voice that, unless it's something you always say, like, don't do anything differently when these things occur. Because as you know, there could be a danger of violence towards you if you do finally say F this and decide to leave and really put your foot down. It's coming. I see it over the course of months and months, unfortunately, but fortunately for you, it is coming. Black Dragon. Let's use Ancestor Spirit. If anyone else paid or is a member and we missed you, please let me know. And now is your last chance to pay money to my PayPal or Cash App, at least $2 or $4 to YouTube. If you can't, that's perfectly fine. I'm just giving y'all one last opportunity because I am going to go and have something to eat after this. Blue Crossroads, exactly. Yep. And, Black Dragon, that's so true. And not only that, love is a verb. Like, yes, love is something we feel, but love is an action, right? Love is something we do. It isn't just something we say. And yes, he is spiteful and violent. And that's why I worry for you. Like, even if you start to have these feelings, don't, like, whatever, everything's perfectly normal. Yeah, you'll be back in 2 days to beat the crap out of me again. And then you finally make that move. And it will present itself as time goes on, little by little by little. I've seen this coming for you for a really long time. And I do feel, and again, no shade, that you've passed up a lot of opportunities that you didn't realize were opportunities because you were so focused on, when you're in that kind of situation, it's impossible to focus on anything else, even when the person's not around you. You've passed up several, but I feel like this is going to be something placed directly in your path where you kind of don't have a choice, but you do. Do you know what I mean? Where you have finally gotten to the point where you feel like there's no choice but to go, and you mean it. And we'll be right here for you when you do. I hope so. It might not be, though, but I do feel that you are getting there. It's finally shifting inside of you that this is not how you want to spend your life. Black Dragon, find your voice, express yourself, open up, and sing out. Singing is natural and everyone can do it. Notice how you feel when you sing without inhibition. Raising your voice is uplifting and it builds your core strength. This card is encouraging you to bring more songs to your life. If you already sing, step it up by taking lessons, joining a choir, or going professional. If you don't usually sing very often, try to release any fears or judgments of your voice and find your melody. Harmonize with the radio, hum along with the rain, sing whatever and whenever you can until singing becomes more natural for you. Express yourself, find your sound, and share your beautiful voice with others. So I don't know if this is something you do where you sing, but I just feel like this could also be a metaphor. Like, let your soul sing, let your light shine, get out there and touch people's lives, right? Like you do in here. You're so wise when it comes to being spiritually aware. And I feel like you're going to come across in the next week or two, next few weeks, someone or people, several someones or one person, I do think it's more than one, that are going to need to hear what you have to say. And I feel like there's always people around all of us like that all the time. But Black Dragon, specifically in the coming 2 weeks, make sure that you're replenished, relaxed, spiritually aligned, because people are going to be looking to you for advice and guidance. And I mean, like, not just people but I feel like randomly you're going to, it's almost going to be like, wow, the people are going to walk away like, wow, I'm so glad I met that person today. Or you're giving them a story to tell. You're spreading spiritual, not just kindness, but like advancement. I don't know what this is. There's some opportunity for you to really help somebody in the next couple of weeks. So if it's not dangerous for you to do, speak to strangers, take every opportunity to have an open discussion. Somebody needs to hear something you have to say desperately. And I do think it's a stranger. Last one, Miss Lotus Girl. I'm going to use Wisdom of the House of Night. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I will check my messages, Batmom. I did not receive anything from you. I would have at least said thank you, even if I couldn't respond, about learning how to react, because that is what I want to do new on my channel. I'll do as much as I can during RJ's spring break, but it won't be much because it's hard for me to film with him here. He always wants to be all up in the camera, and he's a loud kid. So I'll do what I can. Keep watching the TikToks if you're on TikTok, my Instagram. Please support the YouTube shorts besides the live streams. That's what we're doing on this channel for now. So I need all the views, comments, likes, and shares that I can possibly get. Even if you don't know what I'm doing, sometimes I'm just doing like a trend that everyone's doing to try to become part of a compilation. So if you're like, what is, like, that's normally what that is. Just support it, please, if you support me. I'm really, really struggling, guys, making a career out of this, much more so than I ever was. And I really hope I didn't get screwed out of my final paycheck today, because y'all are going to hear a lot from me if that's the case, because I have 4 years worth of really horrific stuff that's been done to me that I'm not going to be silent about if this person's just going to treat me like garbage. All right. Lotus, you got the fledgling, card number 1. KC's good. She got her personal today. She said unless there was anything pressing that we'd be all right on a reading tonight. Dear one, when you receive the symbol of the fledgling, know that you are blessed with a time of learning new things. This is a time for you to remember that you cannot know things until you experience them. Being in this evolving state means you may stumble a bit. Don't expect yourself to be perfect. Now is the time for being gentle with yourself as you step into your destiny to become the beautiful person you were meant to be. When the fledgling appears to you, it's a sign of new growth and wonderful new opportunities. Step forward with curiosity and a willingness to learn and discover. Lotus girl, I feel like in the next couple of weeks for you, there's a new path, but it's an offshoot of the path you're already on. There's something new that you are wanting to do in the context and within something you're already doing, right? So adding something or taking something away from the business, or it's like this new way of doing things that's coming in for you. And I'm wondering, like, are you getting another great driver? Are you finding someone to answer the phones? It's something like that. It's like something that in the beginning you maybe were very excited about, but then once you're actually presented with the opportunity, you start becoming fearful and like waffling a bit, going back and forth. But the universe is saying, this is what you've been asking for, the help that you absolutely desperately need in some area of your life. I don't know if it has to do with the business. I'm just putting it out there that it might. In some area of your life, the help that you've been praying for and begging for and desperate for is coming in the next 2 weeks. But the only way you're going to know that's what it is, because it's not coming in the way you've ever expected it to or thought it would, is by taking every single opportunity to do something new and different and to try new and different things. I love you all. Don't forget to donate, guys. Please. I love you. I will talk to you all next week, and hopefully I can get some reactions done once RJ's done with spring break. Maybe I can work on them throughout. I'll keep you guys posted in the community tab through TikToks, YouTube shorts, and Instagram posts about my new book. And that's all she wrote. If you want a personal, email me. Bye.